Honestly, I don't know how Bob Ross did this. This is very, very nerve-wracking. And I don't know how to make happy little trees. Hi everyone. So against my better judgment, I decided to show you how I paint on camera. I've been asked in the past how I paint my backdrops, and honestly, it's not too dissimilar from how I paint in general. It's just on a larger scale. And so I had these old canvases in my attic of paintings that I never really completed. And instead of getting rid of the canvases, I decided I would paint over them. Now, this is very controversial today, painting over a painting, but back in the olden days, it wasn't that uncommon. Materials were hard to come by, and if you were lucky enough to get yourself a smooth plank of wood, you would have to treat it, and then you would have to plaster it, make sure it didn't crack. I made one in college, and that was a job. Not one I think I would ever attempt again. I think that was the end, the beginning and the end for me with oil paints. I can use them, they're just not my favorite. I tend to gravitate towards acrylics. Who needs linseed oil or rabbit skin glue when you have polymer? So for these paintings, I'm going to put mediums in my acrylic paint, or put acrylic paint in a medium to try to build up texture or try to create translucency. But you'll see as we go through the video. Now, this is only part one of this particular painting, but if you like what you see, please like and subscribe. That would be great. You can come back and see part two, and it also would give me encouragement to get on camera again. And believe you me, after cringe editing this thing, I'm gonna need all the encouragement in the world to keep going. Hopefully, I'll figure out better camera angles and better lighting, but let's proceed with the demonstration. Now these you can use alone, or you can mix them with your acrylics, and it doesn't have to be Liquitex, it can be any acrylics. We have some light modeling paste, and this is just regular white sand. You can buy modeling paste with sand in it, but it's probably less expensive to buy the sand separate and add it to the modeling paste. Light modeling paste, and then we have regular modeling paste, and then we have flexible modeling paste. And the difference between them is the density, of course. Modeling paste is probably the thickest. Light modeling paste is thinner than regular modeling paste. Flexible modeling paste, I believe it dries a little, takes a little longer to dry. It's not flexible in the sense that it's much different than modeling paste. It's flexible in itself. So they do have descriptions on the side to tell you what the action does. Adds texture and form, dries very hard matte surface that you can paint on or add to the paint. So it's just a difference of density between flexible modeling paste, light modeling paste, and then you can always add the sand to it. So here we have some other mediums, acrylic mediums. We have a gold metallic medium. You can do like a Klimt method with that gold metallic medium. A glass medium, which then makes the paint have a viscosity that looks nice on glass. You do have to cure it in the oven for 30 minutes. We're going to go back to these because these are the ones we're using in today's painting. And I told you that you didn't necessarily have to use Liquitex products with Liquitex paint. I happen to like Liquitex because it's relatively inexpensive and has pretty nice weight to it and viscosity. Winsor Newton, of course, are very expensive, but Golden is not. And if you can find, here I found a heavy matte gel, an extra heavy. Here I found an extra heavy matte gel that I don't believe Liquitex makes. Here we have a stucco effect, which again is like an impasto, but it's a little different than modeling paste. It has more of a grit to it. Then we have slow dry gel. This is if you wanted to make your acrylics seem more like oils, and so they'll dry slower. And of course, the self-explanatory crackle paste. Crackle paste, when it dries, it starts to break apart, depending on how thick you put it on. That can be an impasto effect. This one here was kind of interesting, liquid thick additive, because it dramatically increases viscosity, but it has no effect on the opacity, which is interesting. We'll have to try that. But what we're using today is this one right here. We're using this one called Gloss Gel, because the painting originally was about transparencies, and this paint, well, increases viscosity, which is good. We want that. It increases texture. But here it also increases gloss and the transparency. And it extends color, and it retains brush marks, which is interesting because I think my painting is very flat. And it enhances blending, which is good because we're going to talk about some of the blending on the existing painting. And I think I'm also going to use this one here, which is called Glass Beads. Never used it before. I believe it's new. If you've seen it before, please let me know in the comments your experience with it. You're going to see mine with the glass beads. But here, another thing, gives a glossy, bubbly texture, and it's non-yellowing. So let's see what these two do. And I'm going to mix up my paint now, and then I'll show you my palette. Okay, so I mixed up my palette, and I added some. I kept some of the original colors, of course, because like I said, I'm not looking to change the whole thing or paint it over and make it something different. I'm looking to add to it. So I have some of the colors from the painting, and I also have mixed up some transitional colors. And then I have in there the gloss medium. And that is a brilliant blue with a little turquoise in it and like a magenta. This is a rose, pink, a lavender, burgundy, like purple, more turquoise, the orange, the yellows. And so this is a transparent mixing white. That's just for blending. And that's also transparent white because that has gel in it. And I haven't used the glass beads yet, but I will at some point. And that's my palette. Now this is a pretty big palette, but there's a secret to it. This isn't just regular palette paper. Underneath, we have a sponge, and the paper itself is called a Stay Wet. And then what we do is we put a cover on it, and it keeps the paint nice for the next time, because this is going to be an ongoing project, I'm sure. Okay, you're going to see me with headphones on because I don't know how to paint without music, and I don't want to get a copyright strike while I'm painting. So I'm going to keep my headphones on, and I'm going to talk when I start doing something so you know what I'm doing. What I mean to say is as I'm making decisions on what I want to change, I'll talk out loud, take my headphones off. We have all the paint here on the palette, and you can see I mixed it the other day, but it's still nice and wet and ready to go with the glaze on it. And the first thing I'm looking at is that I have this pencil mark here, and this has always bugged me because apparently the idea wasn't completely thought out. Something about this circle, there is a rectangle up here. In the rectangle, I don't see any other shape that I drew besides this squiggle down on this side. So, and then the interesting thing about this painting is underneath I have some of this blended paint. So I don't know what was underneath this. And then it says ad libio, so you know I did this a very long time ago. But I don't know what I was thinking, because then I know that what I did was put the airbrush on and airbrush over it. So we're going to try to correct that, because I think the two styles going together are not working. In my opinion. I don't know how other people feel about painting over old paintings, but I don't see the point in keeping a canvas that I clearly will never hang because I don't like what I did. So I'm going to start working on it now. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work with the yellow. I have my water here, I have my paper towels in my cart because I always think it's important to dry your brush after you wet it. I'm going to start. And you can see because I mixed the paint with a glaze right now, this is a translucent gel. And every day with all this plastics that we have in our environment, we're adding more and more plastics by the day and figuring out what we can do with these interesting acrylics. And so, and already I feel like this is an improvement from the way it looked before. I'm also going to take the yellow I don't know why I'm choosing to do it yellow. I should have analyzed my color palette before I did this yellow. I felt inspired. The other important thing when you're painting is to step back and look at what you're doing. I always take the paper away from the kids and then I hold it up for them so they can see what they're doing from far away. And I'm going to step out of the frame now and see if this yellow is working. So far, I don't think it's a bad choice. But what I'm going to do is put my headphones on. I'm going to work with it a little bit. Once I start getting to a place where it looks a little bit remarkable. Again, words are hard for me with this accent. And you see, so I'm going to continue to work on it, but you get the idea of what I'm trying to create. There's some transparent element and also a color blended element that I want to try to get. I want to try to get the intention through the entire painting instead of this working in some areas and not working in others. And in order to analyze it better, I'm going to step back and look at it, and then I'll bring you back in. Honestly, I don't know how Bob Ross did this. This is very, very nerve-wracking. And I don't know how to make happy little trees. It's hard to see what you can see. Can't flip my camera. We're just gonna go with it. I'll let you see a little bit of me painting, and then I'm gonna take a break, and then you'll come back and see the effects of what I've done. Now you can see this gel, it kind of dries really fast. If I put water over it, it just thins it. You can kind of erase it by doing that. And if I take a paper towel, let's see if you can see that part. And if I take a paper towel, I could also take it off. But I have to say, I had this glaze on my fingers and it was extremely hard to get it off. I was scrubbing my hands in the shower and I couldn't get this glaze off. So but you can see what it does to the acrylics. It kind of really makes them very translucent. And I was trying to achieve something about translucency 35 years ago, but we'll see if I achieve that now that I have the proper gel. Catch you back in a few. What I'm realizing is also important about this glaze. I want to show it to you again. What's mixed into the paint. Right now we have this mixed into the paint. This is gloss medium, and excuse my gloves, I do have rheumatoid arthritis and it's kind of flaring, so this is what's mixed in the paint. And I'm noticing that the brush you use is kind of important too. I was using a round brush and I noticed this gel does keep its texture, and you can see now that I just went over it with the square brush, how it knocked. If I add a little water to the brush too, you'll see how a square brush kind of knocks out a little bit more of the texture of the gel than the round. I mean, the round seemed to be good for covering the pencil marks, though it didn't do such a hot job down here. But you can see the difference. You can see, what I like is that you can see the texture of the paint. And the idea that I had was this, looking at this painting over the years, something about these undulating waves that go to the top, almost like a lava lamp. But I don't want to lose this. And I don't know how to, I'm going to try to figure out how to incorporate this square, this That's a rectangle. I know it's a rectangle. This rectangle is going. It doesn't fit anywhere. It doesn't make any sense. I also like this particular swirl where I have some yellow coming into some purple. I'm going to try to do that with the brush too. Try to get more of this in these undulating waves. But I just wanted to put the camera back on to tell you that the brushes that you use with this product are important. You're going to get different effects depending on the brush you use. I'll show you my water bottle there. So over there I have a series of rounds and flats next to my paint because I'm intending to see what both of them do. I can see right away that I did spread out some of the texture, and actually the gel is pretty shiny with the under the light. It looks different when I step back. Time for another pause, and when I think of something else to tell you, I'll put the camera on. So right here I'm starting to play with the transparency, but I want you to see that when the brush still has paint on it, it really is important how you lift it, because this gel really does keep the texture. So if you're blending, you can see how it lifts right off the canvas as you're working. So it's kind of different than just regular acrylics. We're gonna have to figure this out, work out the idea of it, how to blend it. It also dries very quickly, which is shocking because acrylics do dry quick in general. I guess adding additional polymer to the paint dries it quickly. I wonder if you put an extender in the paint, if that would keep it wet for longer. They do make an acrylic retarder that you can put in the paint. I wonder if that would keep it wet longer, but I'm noticing I have to work quickly because if I pick my brush up in a spot like here, I pick my brush up too quickly, I get that weird streak there. You see that's from the brush, so we're gonna have to be cognizant of that. On the other hand, I do like this texture that you can get with the round brush. This you're not gonna get with the flat brush. If I go over this with the flat brush right now, you're gonna see what happens to it. I'm gonna show you that if I go over this now, I'm gonna lose all this texture when I go over it with the flat brush. So that's more of the translucent element of it. You have two different, you're playing with two different elements here. You're playing with texture and translucency with this medium. It's a little different than oil. It's a little different than regular acrylic too. So let's see what happens. So here's a little trick that I do sometimes to keep the paint wet. I keep a spray bottle, and sometimes I'll spray the painting if I don't want the paint to dry that fast. Also, if I don't like what I've done, if I spray it with water real quick, basically like an eraser. Not something I generally like to do, but if I put my brush in the wrong color, I certainly do want to fix it. I want you to also see how if I go up higher, and I sprayed it with water now, you can see how it even is affected by water. This is a really strange medium. I've never seen it before. This is the first time I've ever known it was available. Now you can see that I pulled it off, and also you can see how water affects it. Kind of odd how a spray bottle would do that much to it, as opposed to regular acrylics where if you sprayed the painting with a spray bottle, it probably would just keep it wet. It probably would not do that where it starts to fall apart. Another interesting thing. So what dried earlier before is still there, even though I sprayed it with water, but some of it came off. Gotta remember, I'm still playing with this medium to see what it does before I actually decide. I'm also working out my composition. That's always the first thing I figure out when I'm painting. What is the composition I'm looking for? And then once I get my composition straight, then I figure about filling in or blending or where we're gonna go. And I'm seeing I already have problems with my composition due to the colors that are underneath. So I'm gonna look at this painting overall and figure out where it's going. I still haven't figured it out yet, but at least I'm figuring out the medium. So I'm starting to get used to the way the medium works. You can see I'm starting to pull out the effect here. This is kind of what I was looking for. I'm glad I erased this part because then I was thinking about if I needed to, the composition is probably very weak due to that hot pink is a color that really tends to grab your eye. On the camera here it looks orange, my white balance is a little off, but it is a magenta, and I'm shooting under lights. I don't think they're 52K, so you're not seeing the color accurately. This is kind of what I was hoping for, right there and there. That's kind of what I was hoping to get to. Now I really do hate that I do part 1 and part 2 in my videos, but I know that if I wanted to explain this painting to you, I would probably be a 3-hour video as I work, so that's not going to be interesting to anybody. But I wanted to show you how I'm starting to get used to, I'm giving you a progress, an update. I want you to see how I'm getting used to working with this gel medium and not necessarily killing the painting that I had underneath yet, and I don't intend to. Anyway, you can see I kept my little son there, and I plan to keep him. I'm also using the texture from the gel. I like that's gonna dry and it's gonna stay. When you get a buildup of texture, that tends to stay, and you can paint over it and it's still, you can still see it. And then we're going down here, that's the original painting, and down here we're trying to take some of that blue that's from the side and bring it into the painting. And as I was thinking about the composition, I'm very interested in making the yellow work in this, but I realized in order to fix my composition, let me fix my camera first, let me fix my camera, and I can talk about my composition once my shot is composed. I'm starting to pull out what I want, and the bottom is coming along. I was focusing on in the beginning about the yellow in this painting because that's sun and I want to keep it, so I was just focusing on where is this yellow gonna go. But I realized to balance my composition, it was probably more important to work with the dark colors first and then go back with the yellow. There's a lot of yellow in there right now still. You'll see I didn't take much yellow away yet. I have one part on the top to figure out now that I figured out how these gels work, and we're gonna move on from there. Okay, so I'm gonna end this video today at this spot probably, because I think I'm kind of running out of ideas now. But I can see that I've made a big improvement. At least I feel I've made a big improvement on my composition. What I'm trying to do is incorporate these lines so they're not random. They kind of flow into each other now. The undulating waves is more closer to the, I don't know. I actually don't know what my original vision was 35 years ago. I used to use an airbrush a lot back in those days. It was the 80s. Airbrushes were big. I wanted to be an illustrator, so you had to learn how to use an airbrush. I wanted to draw cars, even to draw the girls sitting on the cars. I forgot which artist draws the girls sitting on the cars. Creating artwork of pretty girls on cars. See, now I don't like that. I just, so what do I do when I screw up? I do this. As long as the paint underneath is dry, and this acrylic dries super fast because of the extra polymer in it that makes it see-through. And I don't know if I'd be using this product if I didn't have it, this particular project to use it on. Like this project of trying to paint over an existing painting without losing all of the existing painting. It's a big undertaking. I think I'm getting closer to a good composition on this piece, much better one than I had before. It's a lot more interesting now, and I like this overlapping gel medium. Let's see how far that I can take it. And I'll catch you in another video. Please like or subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps our numbers. And talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.